excited about the opportunity, to be honest. That enthusiasm of playing the game and going out there with that energy and attitude.
Here comes Donnie.
Donnie Kelly is going to give it to Edwin Jimenez.
Welcome into PNC Park. Now, we don't have baseball for you today, as we typically do when we welcome you in with the end of the season officially happening yesterday. But Brownie, we're taking a look into 2026 as the Pittsburgh Pirates announced today the extension of manager Don Kelly. As a Pittsburgh girl myself, someone who is homegrown, I think this means a lot to someone like Don Kelly. He expressed that when he took over in early May. It just means a little more when you're from here, and you can feel that with every step he's taken in this role so far, and I have no doubt he's going to take that with him moving forward. I'm curious, though, what were your initial reactions?
Well, not surprised, Hannah. The Pirates made the announcement in May. He took over May the 9th. It was his first game against the Atlanta Braves here at PNC Park. By the way, we're thrilled to be bringing you the press conference live here momentarily. But he was not handed the interim tag. I thought that was very interesting. So I think the Pirates always had this in mind, and he is universally respected and beloved throughout the game, and he's done just about everything in the game. As you said, he's a Pittsburgh guy, and you know what it's like to be at Pittsburgh and how really important that is, I think, for this franchise to have somebody that it's personal to Don Kelly. And so when people say, oh, you want to win, this guy wants to win as much as anybody. So it's a great day. It's a historic day in Pittsburgh.
When it comes to building a culture, there's no one better that understands what Pittsburgh means and the type of culture you can bring than Don Kelly. And I think the biggest part of this, Brownie, is it's been evident since day one. The players believe in him. They trust him. There was a ton of players when we talked to when he took over that said it just felt like they played looser for him. There was a trust that was building there. And he also had so much support from former teammates and some of the legends in the game, guys like Verlander and Scherzer, who I talked to this year, immediately supported him. They called him the Dons.
Yeah.
They said that his communication was so strong. I mean, he has what it takes, and it seems like no matter who you talk to, they support what this guy brings to the table.
You know, his communication skills, we talked early on, and maybe it wasn't fair to Donnie, but when we watched him, as we're seeing the video, the communication skills that he has, it's almost like it's a combination, and sorry, Donnie, this is what it looks like, a combination of Chuck Tanner and Jim Leyland. Again, that's high praise, but a lot of people feel that way about him. And I think we're about ready to get going here at this press conference.
A ton of high praise for manager Don Kelly. We'll hear his thoughts soon, but for now, let's head over to general manager Ben Cherington with the Pirates manager of 2026.
Okay. Thank you, everyone, for being here. I am truly excited and honored to be here today to be part of this celebration of the announcement of Donnie and the extension and announcement as permanent manager of the Pirates. And I want to start by welcoming some important folks who are in the room. Important folks, period, and certainly important to Donnie. His parents, Tom and Evie, are here. It was really awesome to meet you earlier today. Thank you for being here. Special. Donnie's mother-in-law is here, Carolyn. Thanks for being here, Carolyn. And then, of course, Carrie's wife, Carrie, and the boys are here. Brett, Luke, and Brooks, and gussied up, did that quick change. That's pretty good. Also want to just say thanks to Bob and Travis, who were just really engaged and incredibly supportive through this process that led to this point. Let's say a couple things. As we were flying back from Atlanta last night, I was thinking about, and this morning I was thinking about the last 6 years working with Donnie, and there's a lot that we've experienced together. There's a lot that I've observed and we've learned about each other, things I've seen, and a lot that goes into the reason why we're sitting here today together and the reason he's the right person to manage this team. It did keep coming back to one simple theme for me as I thought about that. And it is simple, but so hard to actually do. And that is that for 6 years, I've only seen Donnie do things and say things for two reasons. One is to help somebody else, and the other is to help the Pirates win. And that sounds simple, and that's also incredibly hard to do every hour of every day, and incredibly powerful. And because he's done that, he has earned trust in that clubhouse, throughout the organization. He has credibility. He has built the foundation to be able to influence us going forward in the most positive ways. And he also has all of the experience and skills and judgment necessary to do this job at the highest level. I'm very confident he's the right person for this job. Fired up to keep working with you, man. Take it away.
Thank you, Ben. Honestly, I'm truly honored to be the guy to lead the Pirates and going forward, and grateful for the trust from Bob, from Travis, from Ben, and most importantly from the players and the fans. And before we get to that side, I just wanted to echo and start with some thank yous. My wife Carrie, talking last night, really, it's so hard. Baseball is awesome. There's a lot of ups. There's also a lot of downs, and especially for a baseball family going through it, couldn't do this without you. And for the boys, there's a lot of sacrifice that goes into it, a lot of things that we get to do as a family, and also some things that Dad misses with baseball games, but just appreciate you guys. For my parents, the support growing up here in Pittsburgh, and everything you've done for me, for my mother-in-law. Just thank you. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention Big T and everything that he meant to me as well through my career. And, Carrie's dad was instrumental for me as well. I am going to thank Neil too a little bit, and my brothers-in-law, Matt and Sean, have meant a lot, as well as my sister Ashley and my brother Andy. I think we all come from a place that there's a lot of people that lead into all of our lives and how we become who we are because of them. And I could go on and on for, probably an hour on people that were that for me growing up in Pittsburgh, going to Mount Lebanon, Point Park, being from the city, and, pouring into me to make me who I am today. And just really thankful for a lot of people that have done that for me. Getting back to the honor of leading the Pirates and the trust in me from the Pirates organization, and also from the players and the fans, and really have a lot, would not be here if it wasn't for the players and the way that they responded this year. And we had a really tough start to the year. The expectations are high. The expectations are high going forward from here on out. And I take responsibility in that, leading the charge in that, and really could not have done it this year without the players responding in the way that they did, and out on the field and working every single day tirelessly to get better. And I think that in thinking about the players and thinking about being from the city of Pittsburgh, I was a fan first. Growing up, 1992, Francisco Cabrera ripped my heart out just like it probably did everybody in Pittsburgh, and remembering that moment. And I was talking to Brian Warecki earlier today. He was actually a coach for me in the Tiger system back in the day, and I made sure I told him that he ripped my heart out in that moment. That was gut-wrenching, and that's something that still drives me. I was 12 years old when that happened, and it still drives me to this day. And I understand Pittsburgh fans, and because I am one, and they're passionate. They're relentless. It's going to be on both sides. I know that when we are winning here in Pittsburgh, the fans are going to be there. And we also hear it whenever we're not doing the things that we need to do. And that's what drives me. That is what drives us every single day to be the best version of ourselves, to be the best version out on the field, and to work tirelessly towards bringing winning baseball back to Pittsburgh, which we are going to do. We've taken strides this year in doing that. We are certainly not there yet. We're on the track to get there, but we are on the way. And I think that the culture in the clubhouse the players' commitment to each other, to winning, and honestly, in representing Pittsburgh the right way, the way that I've known the city as a blue-collar, hardworking town that does those things every single day, that's the standard that we expect from our players, to show up and work tirelessly. We talked a lot this year about earning respect in how we do that every single day, and it never stops. It never has stopped from, I look back for myself being from Mount Lebanon, going to Point Park. It wasn't D1, but finding a way then through other people that I spoke of that poured into me, Al LeBerry, Steve Aramis, people that were instrumental in me becoming the baseball player and the man that I am. And I think that as we talk about that respect factor and how we earn that every single day, that was a challenge that we presented to the players of show up every day to earn it. And I think that the one thing that I wanted them to know was that as their manager, I was going to fight for them every single day. And out on the field, regardless that we're playing against the other team, I know that we made jokes about it, that I'm pretty mild-mannered most of the time. I got tossed out of a game pretty quickly, and it wasn't planned. It was part of that. I felt that inclination to earn it and to have their backs. And I think that going forward, whether it's the players, we're going to go out and we're going to work tirelessly. I'm going to work tirelessly to hold the players, the staff accountable to that. I'd be remiss if I didn't thank the staff this year too. Going through what we went through, finding a way to rebound, and yes, we didn't get to where we wanted to get to, where we expect ourselves to get to, but the staff was instrumental in, I couldn't have done it without them, in working to earn that respect. And I think that for the organization, to the fans, to the city of Pittsburgh, I will work tirelessly, fight for you, fight with you, to help make the Pittsburgh Pirates the best team possible and to bring playoff baseball back to the city of Pittsburgh.
Can you open up for questions now?
Start. First off, Donnie, congrats. You inherited a tough spot with when you took over. Was it ever overwhelming for you? And when did you finally feel like you settled into this role?
It was tough. Settling in, I think you're always going through learning. I would say after the All-Star break started to slow down a little bit. It was, up until that, it was really a fire hose. But as far as still learning, still growing, still trying to figure everything out on the day-to-day, on the communication, on everything that goes on, it's always evolving, and we're always fighting to earn that respect.
Donnie, congratulations. What do you feel you did to earn the players and management's respect?
First, thank you. And the best advice that a lot of people gave me was to be myself and to be authentic to myself in every single day. And I hope that the players felt that Donnie Kelly, the bench coach, was the same Donnie Kelly, the manager. And I hope that Ben in the front office felt the same thing, because I think that is my goal, is to show up every day and be the same guy working tirelessly to help other people be the best version of themselves.
DK, I know you're used to operating year by year in the baseball world in a sense. Do you think that helped you, whatever you were taking over as manager, just that approach of being able to take it a year at a time? And I know you touched about, how you want to grow, in this offseason. How do you want to see that role continue? Yeah,
really good question. And it was, as a player, never had a multi-year deal. I know Carrie and I joked when I first started coaching in Houston, it was the first multi-year deal that I'd ever signed in baseball. But it is true. It's referencing earlier with the family. It's baseball is awesome, and it's also challenging. And when you deal with the uncertainty of a player, and I think the one thing that was ingrained in me from playing and not having the multi-year deal is you show up every day to earn it. And that is something that in talking to the players, it doesn't stop. Even throughout till the end of your career, you never stop fighting for that respect. And I think that is, something that is vital what was vital for me as a player and learning how to deal with, year-to-year stuff, and also for us going forward. And honestly, I really didn't forget, but Jim Leland has been, as everybody knows, hugely instrumental in my career. Jim never gave me a multi-year deal. It was something that he ingrained that in you, that you were showing up every day, fighting for that respect to earn it. And I know we joked about it with some of them, like we talked about exit meetings. I don't know if you're in there, Ben, but we were talking about the exit meetings, and somebody asked about exit meetings with Leland. The only meeting I was in with Leland that had exit was when I was being exited back to AAA. But that is how you get formed and how you fight for that respect.
Donnie, did it feel like an audition, like during the season, or were you so caught up in the moment on whatever that day challenge was that you weren't thinking about sort of I hope I do a good enough job to sort of have this job in 2026 and beyond?
Yeah, it didn't. I did not feel like it was an audition. I did not treat it like it was an audition. Really tried to own it and treat it like I would if I had a multi-year contract. And I think that that's really been my approach, even to the question that Alex asked about every single day is showing up like that to earn it. And going into it, I didn't want to get outside of that, just treating every day, really treating every day like it's your last. And how do you have that mindset going into it and try to be the best version of yourself every day? And I think if I would have maybe put more pressure on yourself, I really didn't treat it like that, just treat it like it was my job right then and there and that day to be the best version of myself. And I hope that that's the way that it came across.
Ben, you obviously had a lot of faith in Donnie from the very beginning. When did you kind of come to the decision that this was a guy that you felt was the right one to extend?
Well, I think it builds over time. Certainly, I think back to we worked together for 6 years, so we're always thinking about, well, what is next for someone? What could someone do? How do we help them, develop to get there? And we're all a part of that and helping each other do that. So I've been probably thinking about it for a long time. We faced a difficult choice, obviously, earlier this year. We felt like we needed to make a change. It was obvious at that point Donnie was the right person to manage. And at that time, we made the choice, let's commit to 2025 and see where we are. And reserve the right to make a choice at that point. And so I think really over the course of the last 5 months, it's just become very clear. I can't speak to a specific day or moment, but it has built to be very clear for all of us that this is the right choice. And I think one thing that stands out, there's a lot that has led us to that clarity, but one thing that stood out to me really clearly is that he was so willing to go after the hardest stuff, and he was effective going after the hardest stuff. And I'm talking about standards and holding the team to a standard, holding me to a standard, holding individual people and players to a standard, holding the culture to a standard, the difficult conversations that you have to do that. He was so willing to go after that stuff. It was only effective because of the trust he had built prior to that. But B, that's not easy to do when you don't yet have the permanency of the job. He did it anyway, and among a lot of other things, that really stood out to me as a great example of strong leadership.
Donnie, congratulations. And when did you find out that you were going to get the permanent role?
Really.
When did you find out? It's all happened pretty fast.
Yeah, really fast. Last night after the game, Ben and I talked and then finalized everything this morning. It's humbling, man. I mean, like we've talked about, to grow up here in Pittsburgh and Mount Lebanon and go to Point Park and to now be sitting here as the manager of the Pirates, it's extremely humbling. And understand that it's on myself, the coaching staff, and the team to deliver on that. It can't be. We have to hold ourselves to a higher standard for baseball in Pittsburgh, and I think that we've laid a foundation for that, and totally believe that we are going to get to that, hold that standard, and bring playoff baseball back to Pittsburgh.
What were some of the biggest challenges for you this season? How do you think you handled them in your first year as manager of the Pirates?
Wow, there were a lot, and to put the biggest ones on, I don't know. I think the one thing that you think you may understand, but you have no idea until you start doing it, is the communication and the daily schedule, if you will, of like your open door policy. You never know what is going to come in the door on any given day, and how you have to show up prepared every single day so that you can tackle the things that do arise throughout a day. Certainly was not perfect in communicating, and still learning on that, but finding a way to communicate with the players is as best you can. I think just looking back on my career and talking about Leland and Lamont, I mean, for Gino to come out of retirement to join us on the staff, and I mean, means the world to me, and was so instrumental and helpful for me in understanding some of this stuff. He had done it before, and to understand that communication and really rely on the staff on a lot of stuff, they did a tremendous job. I think that if I was going to put one thing, it would be on that communication and the opportunity to speak to the media twice a day. That is always fun.
Anything else?
Donnie, obviously you haven't had a lot of time to think things over, but do you anticipate staff changes to the coaching staff?
Yeah, Ben and I today started talking through that. I know we're going to have more discussions and dig deeper on that. Not sure exactly where that's going to go, but we're currently beating that up today, and then I'm sure over the next couple days as well.
You guys gonna keep Gino out of retirement another year?
Oh man, God bless him. I can't. It was awesome, like that he came back and joined us. It'd be tough for him to. I mean, he only missed, I think, 2 series the whole time. It was unbelievable, the energy and what he was able to provide for us. It was great.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Congratulations once again to manager Don Kelly. Brownie, you could feel the emotion in his voice. We're going to have an opportunity very shortly to hear from him again and ask him some questions, but you have to be happy about the things you heard up there.
There's smiles everywhere. It'd be incredible if he took the time to spend just a couple minutes with us. I wonder if we could get Don Kelly to do that. I don't know. He's so busy.
He said talking to the media twice a day was one of the hardest
Oh my gosh,
part,
can you believe this? The new skipper. Congrats.
Thanks, Brownie.
Congrats, DK.
Well, what do you feel like now? Relieved?
Relieved, with the press conference, and it is humbling. I mean, really, when you talk about growing up in Pittsburgh and the opportunity to lead the ball club going forward, and the opportunity we have, extremely humbling.
When you were first hired as the manager in early May, one of the first questions you were asked was the drive-in a little bit different? So I'm going to ask you that again. Was it a little bit different today with the finality of this? And like you said, one of your first multi-year deals.
Yeah, I'm telling you, it is. And to drive in from the north now, I used to be from the south, but living out north, and to be able to call PNC home, it's extremely humbling, and to have Carrie and the boys here with me today, and to be able to share this moment with them and with my parents and my mother-in-law, and really, it's been great.
But the work has just begun. This is day one, and you talked about that. And Hannah mentioned how different it is if you're born and raised in this area. Again, you mentioned it just now at the press conference. The work begins to win now.
It does. Honestly, challenging the guys every single day to show up, to find a way to get better, and find a way to help us win. And this is the time now. We've got a lot to do this offseason to get better. We've got to get better offensively. Pitching staff was really good. We need to find a way to score more runs, and that can come in a lot of different ways, from guys in the clubhouse right now that can impact that, maybe external additions, how we go about doing that. But it's time to win, and I take that responsibility. I feel it. I understand it from the fans' perspective. Spoke in the press conference that
am and was a fan, and had my heart ripped out too. And just know that I'm going to work tirelessly to make sure that we do everything we can every single day to bring winning back to Pittsburgh.
You also mentioned about Pittsburgh and in the culture that Pittsburgh creates and the blue-collar, hard-working mentality. And the people of Pittsburgh want to see that translated in their players on the field. That's the identity of a team. They want people to be scared to play a team like Pittsburgh. How do you do that, and how important was it to get this extension so soon so you can sort of set the foundation of that culture in place from day one?
Yeah, it is. And you know what the cool thing is that the players feel like that too, and it's driven by the clubhouse and the culture and the way that they go about it every single day, and you can feel it. You can feel it starting to take shape, and I think that finishing the season like we did on a strong note on the road. I know we played really well at home. Did really well at PNC, did not do well on the road this year. I think that we made some strides as the season went on and got better on the road. That's something that we've got to take care of next year, is playing well away from PNC, but finding a way to continue to bring that grit every day that I expect, that the players expect, and that the fans expect from a Pirates team.
You mentioned that, and Hannah, you saw this. You did, you're too humble to say it, but you did change something in terms of the road. It got better under you the last couple months. The road record was better, almost 500, which again is kind of a goal. Win more on the road at home and then play 500 ball on the road. And you also did something, you tried to implement something to improve the Pirates record following off days. You brought the team in early for workouts that first game. Talk about that.
Yeah, I mean, we're always trying to beat things up, and it's not just me. We've got a great staff that's trying to put things together like that, on trying to figure out the road record and what was going on there, and also after off days, find a way to maybe jumpstart things to get the guys going, get them out there early, and the players bought in. I mean, you got to see how many times guys are out there hitting early, trying to get better every single day. And as we continue to build that culture and that momentum, that is going to be a big part of it, is really the players driving it, and there were times, I mean, even the last series of the year, we had 4 guys out there hitting early, at 2:00 in the afternoon before the game, still trying to get better, which is that mindset that we want to create.
You had talked a lot about what the players are reacting to, Brownie, and the culture that's in place, and he's too humble to mention a lot of the things that he did do that we got to see firsthand, but there were players behind the scenes saying you helped them play looser and freer, and they felt that when you took over. But how long did you feel like it took maybe to get guys to play free and make mistakes and be able to challenge them and know that that's how they're going to get better under you?
Yeah, I don't know exactly how long. Baseball is such a hard game to play, and I think that, I've talked about it with people in my circle and with the guys. I played that game for a long time of don't screw up, and you can't play baseball like that. You have to go out and play aggressively you're going out to make a play to win. We are going to screw up. There are going to be strikeouts. There are going to be errors. There's going to be things that happen that we don't want to happen. How do you put that behind you right away and move on to go make a play to win the game? And I think that's the mindset that I want our guys taking every day, is that they're in the big leagues for a reason. They're really, really good baseball players. How do we show up every day with that aggressive mindset, knowing that things aren't going to always be perfect, but we move on and find a way to help us win?
Tony, you mentioned that you and Ben Cherington will look over everything the next couple days, including the coaching staff and where you move forward. Ben Cherington has said time and time again, especially the last couple weeks, that he knows it, everybody knows it, you've got to improve the offense. So changes are coming. And how much involvement will you have with Ben in that respect?
We'll be working hand in hand on that, as far as, conversations and, from Travis, Ben, all the way down. We know we have to get better, and we know that we have to win here in Pittsburgh. And we know that, the players know that, the fans deserve that. And that's going to be our sole focus this offseason, is finding a way to make that happen.
That is going to all happen under your roof now. And our final question for you today, a lot of people had talked about Donnie Ball being a thing this year, right? And when you're talking about staffing changes, you talked about a standard being set up there. What can fans expect from your identity that you plan to bring to this team from the bottom up?
Yeah, I think that exactly that, Pittsburgh. That's how I see it. And honestly, it's being driven by the players, that identity of being from Pittsburgh, the blue collar, the grit, the perseverance, the resilience, everything that we know as Pittsburghers that makes Pittsburgh Pittsburgh. And that's the expectation, is showing up every single day with that attitude, that energy, and going out there and giving everything you got, because that's all we can expect from anybody, is to give 100% of whatever it is you got. And that's my expectation of myself, for the organization, and for us to bring winning back for the fans here in Pittsburgh.
Our statisticians work we're just getting word, Donnie. You are the first former Mount Lebanon High School player and first former Point Park Pioneer to become a Major League manager. Congratulations. That's impressive.
Thank you, Brownie.
And by the way, true story, the first Pirate manager to hail from Pittsburgh since Bill McKechnie, who won the 1925 World Series. So special company. Congrats.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you, DK. Also, thank you for putting up with all the pressers this year and all the media. You've been a gem through it all. We can't wait to keep bothering you ahead of 2026.
Awesome. Looking forward to it. Thank you.
Take a few days off, Donnie.
Yeah, congratulations, though, to you and your family.
Awesome.
It's been a pleasure working with you this season, and good luck.
Thank you, Donnie. Congrats. Good stuff, Hannah.
You too, Brownie. No, we appreciate everybody for tuning in. That was manager Don Kelly ahead of his extension in 2026. Brownie, a lot of good things to look forward to, but more than anything, from day one now, we kind of know what the standard is going to be looking forward to the Pittsburgh Pirates next season.
I just don't think we can underscore enough the importance of this position, having a guy like Don Kelly. Of course, he's got to have what he brings to the table. We talked about the communication skills, baseball man, and his long track record of what he's done in the game, including coaching at the first base coach for a World Series team. But to hail from this area, to go out to Giant Eagle every day, to go out every day in the wintertime and hear what you and I hear every day, I think it's important, and I think it's going to be a difference maker.
I think so, too. And as somebody, like I said, that has a little bit of that Pittsburgh steel in my veins, 100%. Love the fact that Don Kelly is going to be at the helm ahead of 2026. A lot of work to be done, though. A lot of changes to be made, as he alluded to, but excited that there is a foundation here, Brownie, and very excited for fans to tune in with us throughout the rest of the season. We've got a lot of hockey to talk about as well on Sportsnet Pittsburgh, so stay tuned with us for that and our ongoing coverage of the Pittsburgh Pirates this offseason. We appreciate everyone for tuning in today, and once again, congratulations to manager Don Kelly and his family on his extension as the Pittsburgh Pirates manager ahead of 2026.